Hi, I'm Andrew Berry and welcome to At the Benches YouTube channel. Not so long ago I produced a film all about annealing and showing you the best way to anneal and how to anneal correctly. Now, it is quite awkward to judge the heat of a piece of metal. You can see all around here we've got these bright lights in our studio here, and if you have a too bright a light, you cannot see the true colour of the metal. So ideally you should be doing your annealing within a sheltered area of your workshop where there's no bright lights, where it's fairly dim, because then you can see the true colour of the metal. You heat the metal too long, for instance, and what you'll get is sort of extra sort of grain growth within the piece. You'll perhaps over anneal it, and you'll have problems when you come to finish it, in the sense of you're going to get not a nice high finish. It's going to be slightly granular and you won't get that gorgeous reflective finish that you may be after. So how do you ascertain the temperature of a piece of metal? Yes, you can use colour of the metal, as I've just said, but what happens if you're in a studio like this and you've got bright lights all around you, or it's a bright sunny day and you've benches in front of the window and you cannot accurately judge the temperature of the metal? Well, what you can do is get a Sharpie. This is a Sharpie pen, and what we have found out is that the mark that is put down by the pen will disappear at a certain temperature. Now, as it happens, that temperature is roughly around about the same temperature that the metal is correctly annealed at. So what temperature is that? Well, it's 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, or approximately 590, 600 degrees centigrade. Now, when you come to anneal a piece of silver, and that's what we're going to be doing now, annealing takes place around about 1100 to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 590 degrees centigrade to 650 degrees centigrade. So you can see by using the Sharpie on the bit of silver, when the line or whatever you put on the piece disappears, the piece has been annealed correctly. And that's what we're going to be doing on this piece of silver. Now, when you come to alloys in jewellery, when you heat that bit of metal up to a red colour, a dull red colour, the metal will get softer. There are exceptions such as palladium and platinum alloys, and they usually need a lot more of a higher temperature, around about 1700 degrees centigrade or 1700 degrees Fahrenheit or 900 degrees centigrade. So by having the mark on the metal, you can judge what temperature that piece of metal is. Now, just to throw a spanner in the works, that's a Sharpie. I want to see if these other types of marker pens here will have the same effect, and do these markings burn off at the same temperature? Is it only related to Sharpie pens, or is it related to any marker pens? We've got, what's this called? An overhead projector marker pen here. We've got a dry wipe marker for whiteboards. You can wipe them off, so to speak. And we've also got a permanent marker pen as well here. And we're going to see if these all burn off at around about the same temperature. So let's get our piece of silver. We're going to remove the protective paper plastic off the piece. I have been known just to forget and take it off the front and not off the back. Those days have passed. I'm sure those days will come again when I lose my mind, which isn't going to be long. So let's bring our soldering block into place. Let's put some marks upon the silver and let's see if it is just the Sharpie that works or whether we can use any marker. So first of all, Sharpie. I'm just going to draw a couple of little squiggles. Sharpie. I'll put it in front of me in lines here so we know. This is my overhead projector pen. Let's put a few markings on that one. Let's put on the dry wipe marker. And finally, the permanent marker pen. The Sharpie's a permanent marker pen as well, but I just want to see if this is going to work. Okay, so those have all dried nicely. Let's get the torch. Let's put those pens a little bit further back. We don't want them melting and catching fire. And let's just warm this up. And we're going to try and get a nice broad flame across the whole sheet here. And we want to see what happens now to all these. So this is the Sharpie, 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, 590 degrees centigrade. When that disappears, the metal should all be nicely annealed. But I want to see if these happen to stay on there or these disappear before this Sharpie. Okay, let's go. So I've got bright lights in the studio. I can see the color, but with a bright light, if you see the color, it's usually too much, too hot. So let's just gently go over. I got the flame at quite a distance, because if I go too close, we're going to find that we'll have an isolation of heat in one area. But I want to make sure they get a nice general broad heat. Now look at the color of these and what's actually happening. So the red is virtually gone. So I'd say the overhead projector marker is not ideal because that has disappeared before the metal has gone. And I'd say pretty much that's about right. The marker has disappeared from this side. You've got black showing on here, but that definite color has disappeared. And I'd say that would be perfect for the temperature. You can't really see a color appearing on the piece, but that's because of the bright lights. If this was a dark situation, well then yes, you would have seen a bit of a color come in. You can just about see the faint marks on it, but the actual ink has disappeared. Let's pop that into the acid. Okay, it's been in the acid literally for 2 or 3 minutes. My block's nice and cool. Let's just tap this dry. I don't want to wipe it, just want to show you what the effect on the surface is. And you can see, if you look nice and closely and get the reflection just right, let me turn it on this way, this is the way it was. You can just about see some little bit of a mark on the surface here from where the Sharpie's been, but when we work the piece, that mark is going to disappear. The overhead projector pen just disappeared far too soon, so I would not use an overhead projector pen. I think that's going to disappear too much. But looking at the others, we've got the dry white marker pen, and also the permanent marker pen as well. I think these are just as good as the Sharpie pen because those inks disappeared, were burnt off at the same temperature altogether. So a Sharpie pen, people say, but any permanent marker pen or a dry wipe pen for a whiteboard would do. So if you're just starting out when it comes to making jewelry and you really don't want to get into the science of annealing and working out what sort of temperature the metal needs to be annealed, and perhaps you haven't got quite the eye for judging the color of pieces, well then putting a simple Sharpie, a simple marker pen mark upon the silver will give you this fantastic indication. Like I said, I'll reference the Sharpie, but obviously I mean the dry wipe board pen and also the permanent marker pen as a Sharpie. So yes, the Sharpie will disappear at 1100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 590 degrees centigrade. And that is approximately the right temperature that you need to anneal a piece of silver. If the metal is thicker than what we got here, this is about 0.4 of a millimeter thickness. If the metal is just a little bit thicker, it'll take that a little bit longer to heat up because you've got a lot more mass to heat up. So don't be surprised if your piece takes a little bit longer than what that just did to warm up and for the marker pen to disappear. But if you're a beginner, you really want to know to get the ideal annealing temperature. Don't rely on guesswork. Get yourself a marker pen, draw a little pattern upon the piece. When that disappears, annealed. Hope you like that. Don't forget, please give this film a thumbs up if you like it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, why not? So don't forget, please subscribe. If you haven't done so already, don't forget, smash that little bell icon if that is something that you're into, to be notified when films go live on our YouTube channel. Don't forget, please share this with your friends. I'd absolutely love you to. And in the meantime, until the next film, my name's Andrew Berry for At The Benches YouTube channel. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye. What temperature is that? I think it's about this this sharper, what's it called? To jewelry making. I've got a list under the camera and I lost my place. What's it to what? Anytime heat alloy jewelry to a red color, the alloy will get softer. Right, okay, I understand now. Okay.